A Jew once died and was brought to rest. Among the mourners was an old rabbi. It was a hot day, and as the grave was being dug, the old rabbi sat under a nearby tree. All at once the branches and leaves began to tremble. The rabbi could not understand how this was possible, for there was no wind that day, nor was there any kind of earthquake. What made the tree shudder? Just then a voice spoke from within the tree. "Dear Rabbi, surely you remember me. I was once your neighbor." And the voice gave the name of a man who had died many years before. "Please, Rabbi, listen to what I have to tell you, for I need your help that I may be spared of suffering in the other world." And the rabbi asked, "Speak, for I remember you, and I will do what I can." Then the voice went on to say, "After death, a man's soul suffers 4 transformations. First, it crosses the sea, and if the soul falls there, it enters the body of a fish. And if that fish is caught, and someone cooks and eats that fish after saying the proper blessing, that soul is spared its suffering and ascends to the Garden of Eden. Then there are souls that cross the ocean and pass above the trees. If the soul falls and enters a fruit-bearing tree, and if those fruits are later picked and blessings pronounced on them, that soul also enters the Garden of Eden, its sufferings at an end. So too there are souls that pass over the crops, such as wheat. If the soul enters the wheat and bread is made of it, and the blessings are said over it, that soul is also saved. But if a soul enters crops that are eaten by animals, it remains in sorrow. For if an animal eats the crops containing this soul, it enters the animal. It suffers there until the animal is slaughtered and blessings are made over the food. And that is the soul's last chance of being saved from its suffering. For if it is not saved, it will continue to suffer until the end of days. Know, dear Rabbi, that my soul passed over the ocean, over the trees, and entered the crops. It has been revealed to me that I am about to enter a sheep that I can identify for you. I beg you to be good enough to come on a certain day of the week, purchase that sheep, and slaughter it. And when a meal has been made and the blessing said, you will have saved my soul. But if you do not, my soul will be condemned until the footsteps of the Messiah are heard in the world." So the rabbi did as the soul requested and purchased that sheep. He had it slaughtered and invited all of his students of the yeshiva to the meal. That night the neighbor came to the rabbi in a dream and said, "Your compassion saved me from great suffering. I now make my home in the Garden of Eden. Know that you will find your reward by digging beneath the fireplace of my old house, which now stands in ruins." The next day the rabbi went to the ruins of the house and dug there, and he found a treasure in gold and silver. After that the rabbi inquired about the man's family and found out that his granddaughter was still alive. He married his son to her and gave them a lavish wedding. The couple lived a good life and a happy one, and the rabbi's son became famous as a Torah scholar. And the day came when the wife of the rabbi's son gave birth to a son of their own, and they named him after her father, whose soul had brought them together. This story comes from Gabriel's Palace, Jewish Mystical Tales, selected and retold by Howard Schwartz.